Hello and welcome to Car Dealer Live. I'm James Baggett, I'm the founder of Car Dealer Magazine, and today I'm delighted to be chatting to Tom Hartley. He's the supercar salesman to the rich and famous. Tom, thank you ever so much for joining us. We've obviously chatted a couple of times before, but it's been a while since we spoke. Firstly, big congratulations. It's your 60th birthday this year, I hear. So how many years is that in the motor trade?
Be 48, James, and thank you for inviting me back on your programme. I always watch it with great interest because I find the information that you gather, I don't know how you gather it, but it's fascinating. And having been in this business all my life since being 12-year-old, since you've come along, it really has changed the industry.
Thank you, Tom. That's really, really kind of you to say. So, Tom, first question. There'll be a lot of people looking up to you in the motor trade. All these years of experience you've got. If you were talking to someone who's just entering the motor trade right now, what would be your most important piece of advice for them?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think about this question quite a lot because I get asked that question quite a lot. And in fact, only 2 evenings ago, I was having a drink with my son Carl over dinner. And he said, Dad, how many names are around now in business when you started out? And you know, there was about 2 that I could see that are still active, very slowly active, but not many others. How many have I seen come and go? Thousands. You know, they set up, they make a big noise, a lot of noise for a short time, and then they just disappear. This business, like any business, if you want to be the best at it, it's not 9 till 5, it's total life dedication. As you know, you've been to the Hartley estate. We eat, breathe, dream, see cars every day of our life. And my phone lines don't stop at 5 p.m. and they don't start at 9 a.m. Listen, I am, a guy called me the other day, I'm the entrepreneur's entrepreneur. And, you know, it's not about the money, believe it or not. For me, it's about the deals and the people nowadays. I can afford to say that. And years gone past, I probably couldn't have. But I really, I love what I do. I have other businesses and other interests. Yesterday, to add to my portfolio profile, I've been asked to be a speaker for one of the most exclusive boarding schools in Europe called Repton, which is an incredible honour for me to be asked there to go and teach children up from the age of 12 to 18. And remembering that here's a guy teaching them who can't read and write. So that's the fascinating thing. And I had no school education, but what they want to do and what we're doing for the first time, never been done, or there's regularly been done, we're introducing entrepreneurship and entrepreneur skills into them that you don't get taught, well, you will not get taught from a school teacher because I haven't got them. So it's the real life stuff, and I feel honoured to be the first one in the UK to set that trend off.
Well, congratulations on that, Tom. Tom, let's have a little chat about the supercar market. I mean, what are you seeing right now? I mean, how is business?
You know, James, when we last spoke, I think I warned you about this. I told you how prices were, and then the slump, believe it or not, come November, December time. I'll give you a couple of examples. Let's take a Ferrari Superfast 812. We were trading them last year at this time for about 300, 320. Later in the year, they went down to about 265, 250. At the beginning of the year, December, January, I was buying them for 200. Okay, selling them for 220. I'm now paying 240 for the same car to buy back. So the point I'm making is I'm saying to you, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Porsche, even the lower end bread and butter cars, their dealers will tell you there's at least 10% increase on prices. More so, the supply availability for these cars is very, very short. I don't think I've ever known it. I don't think I've ever known it shorter or harder to buy.
Tom, I see you on social media always out and about buying stock. You seem to be hunting it down. How are you managing to find it?
That's the story of my life, James. That's the secret I can't give away, but I just happen to be in the right place at the right time. And I do what I do. That's what I do. I buy and sell cars, whether it be on the high street, in the restaurant, in a hotel, or in a swimming pool. If you've got a car outside and I want to buy it, I'll approach you and I'll probably buy it. We've got, listen, over 48 years, we've obviously built up a great clientele bank of customers, and we get a lot of repeat business. If we never got a new customer come in today, we could actually get by very successfully with our current client bank. So, and that's built up over 48 years. So I'm very proud of that. And I think that's an answer without avoiding the first question you asked me, how would you start up today? Well, as I said to you, I've got a computer nowadays, or I used to have a little black book, which I still keep the black book, but I don't do computers, that have 48 years of clients. So they'll always know want to buy and sell cars. And obviously some of them have gone on, but some of them have been replaced.
Tom, what are you seeing with prices at the moment? I know you've mentioned there that they're rising quickly, but it must be very difficult to keep up to speed with the price changes. I mean, other dealers have cap when they cover the whole of market, but you're dealing with this tiny percentage right at the top, aren't you?
Yeah, you must remember going back some years ago, people like Cap, in fact, Cap in particular, for about 16 years, I used to have a meeting here once a month with these guys about revaluing stock and revaluing second-hand prices. And whilst they do a good job and do the research, to be honest with you, James, if you had to follow Cap prices, you really wouldn't buy some cars if you were going by their indication. Again, it's back to the gut feeling and experience. It's far better than research and training. That's a fact in whatever industry you talk about. And that's where we play our part. There's a marketplace and there's us. And we have enough contacts to be able to assess how we see. So no disrespect to Glasses Guide, who grew up reading Glasses Guide instead of a Beano, and no disrespect to Cap. You know, the Glasses Guide was my Beano. When I was 12 years old, 11 years old, other kids reading Beanos and Dandies, I was reading Glasses Guide. That's what I do, that's what I've done. And the guys are great, but even they can't keep up with prices going up and going down.
Tom, where are these buyers coming from? Are you seeing new buyers coming into the marketplace, or is it people that have saved up lots of cash during the lockdown and wanting to spend it? Your traditional buyers,
right? Well, first of all, you also will be aware, finance companies of the last 12 months to date are not like operating the way they used to operate. So getting finance is more difficult, and they're more particular. So that's very difficult anyway. No, a lot of it's old money customers, and I have seen a change in how quick people make a decision nowadays. I did see this back in 2011 after the American disaster over there, and nowadays I see it even quicker. Rather than hesitate and take a week to make the mind up, they're actually making the mind up within minutes or an hour. That's the trend.
And Tom, what's selling at the moment?
Busy with Ferrari as a brand, Lamborghini, Porsche. Everything's very strong, to be honest with you. Everything's in demand, especially second-hand, low mileage, and in good condition, because of the rarity and availability of new cars to customers.
We've spoken in the past about Ferrari's latest models. How are they going down at the moment?
Yeah, we just sold last week. We just sold an SF90, good spec car. We happened to sell that car for this price, and we bought the car with a substantial discount, to be fair. The guy lost quite a bit of money, enough for us to make a margin on it to be able to supply it for this price. Yeah, if you go to the Ferrari dealers, they'll tell you they're sold out for 6 or 12 months, so I don't know what's going on. One guy in particular was asked to buy one, which is quite the trend nowadays with the main dealership network. You buy this model. If you buy this model, we'll give you the new one that's coming out. But this one's probably going to lose 100 grand in 12 months, or lose 50 grand in 12 months. So it's another way of making a premium on the car is coming. It's happening. It's not a secret. I'm not blowing the trumpet. I'm blowing the whistle. These things happen nowadays, and they used to happen 10 or 15 years ago. But that's another change in the business. If you're looking to buy a much in demand model is coming out in 12 months' time, the dealer's asking you to buy the current model that they can't sell in order for you to get on the waiting list for the new model. So it's a little bit of not over the barrel, but it's a little bit like, if you don't buy this, we won't sell you that. It does happen. It has been happening for some times.
What cars, Tom, should people be investing in now?
Well, I think we've talked about the 250 that we've got at the moment. So it's a great car. It's a great buy. It's a classic 59 250 Cabriolet, which is a great buy at 2 million, 1.95 million, I think it is at the minute. I think that's a cheap car when you think the closest model to it would be seen as being a $12 million car. So that's a great buy. We have the only McLaren physical McLaren Speedtail on availability at the moment. We've got LaFerrari Aperta, which is a very rare car, bought by an English entrepreneur who spends a lot of time in the south of France now and in America, and he just wasn't spending enough time in the UK. It's a UK supplied car, and it's the guy was from the West Country, and he just sold us the car.
And how long have you had that one?
2 weeks.
And how long do you think it will hang around? Have you got anybody interested in it? I mean, what is it?
3.5 million. I'm talking to a guy at the moment, believe it or not, as we speak. I'm talking to a guy who's quite close to doing a deal on it. So I wouldn't suspect it should be any longer than a couple of weeks.
And Tom, when you're dealing with cars that are 3.5 million, I mean, these people, what's their decision process like? Do they buy cars on a whim, or is it a calculated long-term decision that they're making?
You know, James, is a mixture of that. There's the guy I'm talking to now, he'd probably harder work than the guy buying a Ford Escort. No disrespect to a Ford Escort, but he's probably harder work. However, not all guys are like that. They phone up, have a phone call with them in 2 minutes, and they bought that car. It's really simple as that. I said 2 minutes. I mean 2 minutes. Is the car there, Tom? Yeah. What's the mileage? That's the price. Yeah. Okay. Bank details. Send me the money. It's sold. But that happens. You must remember that process is part of what 48 years in business helps you do. I mean, you talk about somebody sending you £3.5 million for a car after a 2-minute conversation. You have to be very well established and have a good portfolio and a good track record for things to happen that quickly. And I'm proud to say that we've got that. And
that the Speedtail, is there much interest in that as a model from McLaren?
You know, I don't want to slap McLaren up, but they're not my favourite supercar. I think the technology is great. You know, as you said earlier, I'm very well known for speaking my mind. I wear my heart on my sleeve. They've had their issues in their earlier days, which is no secret, and I've had more problems with McLarens over the years selling supercars than any other supercar. But I do believe they've got their act together now. I think it was mass production. I'd like to say it was greed, get them out while the demand's there. But they paid the price for that, and obviously to keep the reputation together, they sorted it. Where they are now, they're a great car. The technology, I think, is great, but they're not a Ferrari, they're not a Porsche.
Because when someone's spending that Speedtail's up for £2.3 million, isn't it? I mean, when someone's spending that sort of money, surely they want to choose the colour of the car and the interior and all of the options. You've got that car in.
They can't if they want to drive one today, James. They've got to come here and buy this one. If they want to buy one today, and the guys we deal with who are very successful, that's some of how they operate. They want one now today, and that's the colour. I mean, to be fair, the specification of the Speedtail that we've got, I think, is fantastic. You know, most people would order that spec anyway.
It's certainly a beautiful car, but it's quite a departure, isn't it, from something like a P1? You think there's going to be the demand there for it?
You know, I don't want to sound. This will upset a few people actually, but I really don't care. I never was a fan of the P1. We've sold them. We've had them go through our hands, and we've got records of selling them. But I'm just talking about me personally. Same with the Bugatti. A Bugatti doesn't do it for me. I would probably sell more than any dealer in this country, including the main dealer himself, as second-hand cars. But you know, a LaFerrari does do it for me. I think it's the ultimate supercar. I think it's got the branding, it's got the name, it's got the look. Look at an Enzo. Never dated. An Enzo now looks as nice today as the day it was launched. You know, Ferrari. I often say, with respect to Ferrari, I don't think there's a better branding in the world. Maybe only Coca-Cola.
You've driven that LaFerrari. I've seen in your social media recently that you took them out and they were out on the road for a video. What was it like to drive?
Fantastic. I mean, I've driven several LaFerraris and a few Apertas. As I said to you, the first one I had was the first one that was in this country, and there's a story towards that one. I think if you remember reading it in my book, when the car was being launched in Geneva, the chairman, just before it was being launched, the chairman asked the security to come to me at Geneva Motor Show stand and asked me to leave the stand before they revealed the car. And I had no need to, but because of the respect I've got for the brand, I said I would leave the stand, but I promised them I'd have the first one for sale on the market, and I did. And since that day, I've always loved the car.
And that Ford GT you've got in stock as well looks pretty special. I mean, have you sold
Great.
many of those?
Yeah, yeah, great looking car, a great car as well. Again, it's not a LaFerrari, but it's a great looking car, and they've got a great pedigree and great history.
It looks a bit of a bargain at 650,000 compared to the Speedtail and the LaFerrari.
Well, that's another way of looking at it. Yeah, it's a Ford and it's not a Ferrari.
Good point. And just a little bit of detail about that Ferrari 250 GT. Where did that come from? And at 1.8 million, I suppose it needs to be a certain type of buyer looking for a classic like that.
Yeah, well, an investor, somebody who's got a collection of cars. It's a rare car to buy, and it's you wouldn't be able to go somewhere else and buy one today like that. It's totally restored and it's as a new car, and it's a great buy. I think it's a great investment.
You don't seem to be afraid of buying the classic cars as well as the modern stuff, but they don't seem to pop up quite as often on your inventory list as the modern stuff. Is there a reason for that?
No, we like to keep a percentage of that type of car because it gives a variety. And no, I would say 10% of our stock that we carry would be classics, but only 10%.
And Tom, what's going to be the next hot supercar when it comes to rising in value?
It's difficult to say, honestly. I had a crystal ball could say the answer to that question. It's very difficult to say. Ferrari have got some exciting things happening. So again, I have to say there's the front runners for that type of car and that type of interest.
And what would you put your money into if you were buying for yourself?
That 250 that we've got for sale at the moment, I think it's a great buy. I really think it's a great buy. I think if we were talking next year at this time, it'll be 2.2 million or 2.1. I think it'll go up that quick.
And Tom, I noticed again that you've been warned to slow down a little bit as you approach your 60th. Is that actually going to happen?
I doubt it. Unfortunately, it's just the way I am. I'd seek help to try and make me do that, but it's just, as the experts will tell me, I won't change because that's what I do. Maybe not try and do it as quick as I do it, but still get the same results.
And Tom, what's next for the business?
We are where we are. When you came up here, you asked me the same question. Obviously, my son Carl, who's a partner in the business, really takes more control of it now. Although I'm in here every day of the week, including Christmas Day. As I said, my pace, I maybe don't walk to the showroom as quick as I used to walk to. I used to run to it, so it's got a bit slower. Looking ahead of time, I suppose we're looking forward to my grandson coming into the business, my grandson Christian. But that stays away yet, a year's away. We'll just keep doing what we're doing with the leaders in the business. There's no doubt about that. We're first to be able to buy and sell, report prices, give results, and we're first to be open and we're last to be closed.
And you're still hoping for a bit of overseas expansion?
Sorry?
Are you still hoping for a bit of overseas expansion of the business?
No. Carl's talked about it recently, but it's something that I wouldn't want to do, and I'm not really interested in doing it. We have got buyers in other parts of Europe that work self-employed for us to buy cars, so we have got presence in other parts of the world without having an office or a showroom there. We've got human presence, but we're at a size where we control this business. We have our board meetings over the breakfast table with a boiled egg, as opposed to 12 other members deciding what they should do and shouldn't do for a business with this reputation. So I'm happy it stays like that, and it works for me and my son.
Tom, thank you very much for giving up your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you and hear about the business, and hope you have a fantastic birthday.
Thank you, James. Just as I said to you, years ago, magazines like Autocar and Motor, and as I said to you, the Glasses Guide was my beanie on dandy as a boy. Your company and what you've created for the industry, I find very interesting, and you've done a fantastic job.
Thank you, Tom. That means a lot. Thanks ever so much.
Cheers, James.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to Tom Hartley there for joining us for that Car Dealer Live. For more videos like this one, you can log on to cardealermagazine.co.uk and click on the Live tab at the top of the page. I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.